and welcome to another edition of Lab Rats. My name's Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
And this is a show where we demystify technology, bring you all the hot new trends. Lately we've been talking a lot about mobile. And Sean, you were recently zipped on down to San Francisco to see HP, who has kind of been out. Yeah, and they've been out of the mobile game for the longest time. Like, where's HP been with all their mobile gear?
Yeah, for a while they had small handhelds under the HP name, and then they had some under the Compaq name. But they have been sort of missing in action for a little bit.
But they've changed all that.
They changed that. So you might remember a little company called Palm. They did the Palm Pilot, and then they did the Trio phone.
Indeed.
And then they introduced the Palm Pre.
And then they went away.
And then people were thinking, oh, they're going to go out of business. They're done for.
Yeah.
And then HP bought them. So.
Oh, well, smart move.
And they seem to have revitalized them.
So it's been about a year since that's happened. They've obviously revitalized the line, taken the technology, kind of engineered it into the HP branding and approach and that sort of thing. And you're going to kind of give us a summary of what they've announced and whether or not they're on track to really compete against the iPads and the iPhones of the world. Is that right?
Yeah, they introduced 3 new products, 2 phones, and one tablet-y thing, which we'll get into. Yes.
Okay, very good.
So
all right.
We'll talk about those.
So there you go. What would you call this? This is the HP reinvented mobile style?
The resurgence of Palm.
There you go. Resurgence of Palm today on Lab Rats. Well, welcome back to Lab Rats. So before we get started, I just want to talk to you a bit about our sponsor, Hover.com. These are the guys, that are a sister company here. And, if you want to buy a domain, if you want to get yourself a custom email address, things like that, we highly recommend that you zip on over to Hover.com and check out what they've got to offer. And I say this authentically, it is a very good company, great customer service, and I think you're going to enjoy the experience, especially if you've been a GoDaddy customer before or have had a bad experience in terms of buying domains. You're going to find that these guys are great. So I'd love you to try them out. We're going to give you a coupon here to 10% off to go and try one of their services out. And from my heart, and from I know Sean, you're a customer too, and you really love them as well. Give them a shot. If you're in the market for that, please take the coupon code, try them out, and see if what we say is true. But we promise you're going to have a good experience.
I have had bad experiences elsewhere. That's for sure.
There you go. All right. So Hover.com coupon code right here for 10% off. All right, so let's get started. So HP has reinvented the way that they do mobile through this Palm acquisition.
Yes, sir.
Where did you want to start with this sort of conversation?
Well, I guess we can talk about the whole concept of Palm and where they were. So, of course, Palm is like one of the original mobile companies. They invented the Palm Pilot way back in the day. And went back when it was with 3Com, I believe. So they had this technology, character recognition. They did a lot of the things that some of the technology is just doing now a long time back, but they sort of got pushed to the side by the newer, sexier gadgets. The iPhone really took a lot of share, and then it was really make or break time for Palm when they released the Pre. That was their new their new phone with a new operating system called WebOS, and it sort of took the old thing that they were doing and just said, okay, goodbye. We're going to do something now that's very web-centric, which is sort of what we're doing these days with mobile. It's all about things that you can do on the web, like Facebook and your email and all those other sorts of things.
It's all about connectivity and being connected to the internet.
Right. Yeah. And so there was a different way of interacting with it. It was touch-based, like the other operating systems had gone to, like iPhone, multi-touch. It had cards that you use, so you interacted with things in like tap the menu and up comes a bunch of cards with the open applications. It was a multitasking operating system before the iPhone did that. And a lot of people got this and really, really liked it, but not enough people really got it to really turn
they were a bit late to
around.
the game, right? They kind of they missed it by about a year, I think.
Yeah.
They could have been the thing if they had beaten Apple to the punch with the iPhone.
Right. They beat Apple to the punch, obviously, with certain things in the Pre that came later operating systems of Apple, like the iPhone 4, like iOS 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were definitely too late to the space, and they didn't have enough momentum, didn't have enough apps, and I think people thought about a year ago that Palm was really done for, which is when HP stepped in and said, let's do something with this.
Well, and interesting. So HP, Hewlett-Packard, got started in the printer world, became the world's largest computer maker. These are the guys. They had no mobile strategy. Yes, they had phones, the iPad for a while and that sort of thing. And then when the new generation, the touch generation came, they had nothing. And they have touch computers and they have laptops and that sort of thing. But when it comes to the smartphones and the tablets and this whole new era of connecting to the internet using a device in your hand, there was nothing.
Yeah, and in some ways it seemed like HP really had a siloed existence where each of these divisions was doing their own things. So you'd have a performance division, which I guess they pulled Canada's company Voodoo and did all a bunch of performance stuff in this one silo. Then they did all the consumer stuff in this other silo. Then they had a mobile silo that was not really leveraging, the action that was going on in the other spaces.
It was all stylus-based and stuff like that.
All
It's very old
stylus-based.
school,
And even their TouchSmart PCs, it was camera-based at the beginning as well. So not true multi-touch using your fingers and the screen. It was all reading it using cameras pointed down from above.
Right. So they needed something, so they
needed
bought
something.
So they bought Palm. Now, what products have they announced then under the HP brand?
All right, so there were 3 new products that they announced at the press conference that we just went to. And the first one was a very small one. It was a phone-based thing, really mobile, called the Veer.
The Veer.
The Veer.
Okay.
So it's a tiny little device, still had a slider keyboard, reasonably good screen. It had all the things that you'd expect to be on a smartphone. Uses WebOS, so it's really very much like the Pre from back in the day. Used one of the new Qualcomm Snapdragon processors on board, so they're sort of moving away from the old Intel and all the other processors that everyone else is using in these things.
Yeah.
And basically, it was a very small slider phone.
Sure.
Had a couple extra things built into it that made it kind of neat, though. One of them was the ability to create a hotspot wherever you are. So up to 5 other devices, you could use your data connection coming down and then share that over Wi-Fi.
The data connection. So the phone is connected to the internet using mobile 3G.
Yeah, so cellular.
Okay, and then that's creating a Wi-Fi hotspot so other devices can connect into it.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
So that
Clever.
was.
And so the Palm Pre had that, and now the Veer has that. Is that right?
The Pre didn't. That's been introduced now in this new generation. So the Veer has it, and so does the Pre 3, which is the newest.
The new version.
The new version of the Pre.
Pre.
Right.
Okay.
So the Veer did have, like I said, a slide-out keyboard. So it was a fairly small little device, but it did give you full access to keyboard, just like the Pre did and like all the old Trio phones used to. This is one of their strengths, is having actual physical keyboards on their phones. So
who would buy the Veer?
I think the Veer is for someone that is interested in the mobile lifestyle, maybe a student or just someone who's looking for a good alternative to the iPhone, someone who's a more lifestyle user.
Okay, I got it.
For sure.
All right, so that's the Veer, and do we have a sense of pricing? I guess they haven't really announced pricing yet, have
no
they?
pricing yet. They're planning to launch the Veer in the spring sometime, so that could be anywhere into
Spring
June,
2011.
July. Spring 2011, and we'll know pricing closer to that, and obviously that'll depend on the carrier as well, what kind of subsidies and breaks you get because of that.
Right, and that's in the U.S. only, or is that worldwide?
It's going to be in the U.S. and it's going to be coming to Canada at some point shortly after.
And what about outside of North America?
Outside North America, they are working with a number of partners around the world, so they haven't announced specifically where it's going to be outside, but they are looking to put it into
So it'll
around
be a global launch eventually.
It will be
That's
a global
the theory,
launch.
based, I guess, on the success or.
Yeah,
of it.
just like Apple when they launched the iPhone in the U.S. and then out to various partner countries shortly thereafter.
Good.
So
Okay, and then the flagship phone, I guess, is the Pre 3.
it is the Pre 3. So the Pre 2 was the last one of the previous generation, the one that was branded Palm, and the Pre 3 is the first of the HP phones.
Yeah.
So it's, again, very much like the Veer. Has a Snapdragon processor inside, larger screen, larger keyboard for sure. It is much easier to type on. So this one's aimed more at the enterprise user than the
Like the
lifestyle
pro user?
The pro user.
Yeah.
So someone who's used to using the Pre or the Trio with their business. Bigger screen, bigger keyboard, everything that you need to really do a little bit more work on it.
Right, okay, good. What about apps? Because obviously for those two phones, those are critically important.
Yeah, I think the last time we looked, Palm was sitting at about 5,000 apps in their store for WebOS. And that's really not a lot. And that's going to be one of the sticking points here in actually getting people to sign on to this whole program and say, okay, I want to go that direction.
design a Pre.
There's a lot of stuff out there already. You're probably going to find a lot of apps that you do like, but it just doesn't have the wide variety.
Breadth.
Now,
Well, because I mean, Apple's got 375,000 now, I think.
yeah, I mean, obviously there's going to be a lot of overlap and duplication in the types of apps you'll see. So you'll see like 10 different apps to do GPS, 3 different fart apps, well, probably way more than 3.
Fart apps.
You know what I mean. So there's going to be a whole pile of apps out there that just do the same things over and over again.
Big category, the fart apps.
It is, and unfortunately, you've got these soundboards that just, I don't want to talk about that. I know I brought it up, but you know,
did.
That's the thing with a store that's as big and deep as the iPhone stores. You have a lot of stuff in there, some of which are pretty unsavory.
That's true. Is there a fart app for the Pre 3?
I haven't looked for a WebOS-based fart app, but I'm sure someone is.
Somebody's come up with one. Okay, good.
Now, the nice thing about this is the people at HP's developer end do have a program for helping developers port their applications over to WebOS. So it's
you can port your iPhone fart app onto your pre-fart
exactly.
app.
So you know about SDKs, software developer kits. So they got
yeah.
PDKs, port developer kits,
Right.
and they have people that are standing ready to help you develop the app. So hopefully this will be the incentive that a lot of developers need to make the transition over to WebOS as well.
So you heard it here. LabRats is telling you if you've got a fart app, port it over to the pre because you're going to make a lot of money. True story. All right, good. Okay, so that's the Veer and the Pre 3. Enough of the fart jokes. So now, does HP have a tablet strategy like everybody else does?
They do. The Pre 3, by the way, available in summer sometime, so anywhere up until September.
Summer
probably.
2011.
Yeah.
In the Northern Hemisphere, I guess that would be winter in the Southern Hemisphere, perhaps.
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
And so pricing again to be determined, availability around the world to be determined.
Got it, okay, good. So tablets, let's talk about tablets.
So we all know our friend the iPad. We've got
yes, we know the iPad well.
this one right here. It's made a big splash.
Yes.
And a bunch of Android tablets are starting to come out now.
Yes.
And now Palm is getting into this business as well. HP through Palm with WebOS enabled for tablet size devices, and they've actually launched a physical device called the TouchPad.
The TouchPad.
Not a very imaginative name, really, when it comes right down to it.
Doesn't Apple have a product that has the word touch in it?
iPod Touch and the
word
iPad.
Pad, right? So
Yeah.
it's the you're right, but hey.
It's a very generic thing, and I'm used to thinking of the touchpad as the thing on my notebook where I interact with the thing instead of my cursor, instead of using a mouse, So maybe a little bit of chance for people to get confused here, but
Yeah, you would think they would come up with something crazy imaginative marketing ease. What's the Motorola's got what
the Zoom.
The Zoom. There
Yeah.
shouldn't be like the HP
Fart pad.
fart pad.
Yeah.
I think
HP
there's a
fart
market
pad.
here.
There is, exactly.
Thanks,
Especially
Matt.
for our thank you. Yeah, that's right, exactly. You know your audience well, so everybody out there's like, yes, I want the fart pad.
Yeah, so if the HP marketing department is watching this, you can email me. I'll give you Matt's contact information.
Okay, good. So tell me about the touchpad.
All right, so the touchpad is very much designed to appeal to people that like the iPad. So we've seen a lot of Android devices out in the field, and let's be honest, a lot of them aren't particularly attractive. Some of them are pretty brutalist in their design. Putting like USB ports around the outside and a bunch of stuff, really hard edges.
Parallel printer ports, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, there's some out there. Let's just say that they're not that bad, but there's some that are not exactly beautifully designed.
Right.
The goal with the touchpad was to make it a tour de force in terms of industrial design as well. So very much simple in terms of design like the iPad is, not a lot of connectors on the outside. They've got a rocker switch for the volume, they've got a power, they've got a place to plug in your headphones, and then they have a place to plug in your power and your USB cable.
Right.
So not a lot of places for adding additional things like secure digital cards, that sort of thing.
Okay.
So piano black finish on the back. It's really, really beautifully designed. It's very much the same size and shape of the iPad, more or less, with slight aesthetic differences.
Yes. And it's called the HP Nanopod?
Nanopod, yeah, touchpad.
Touchpad.
So the screen, again, 1024 by 768, just like the iPad. So 4:3 screen. I think this seems to be the way a lot of these companies are going with these devices. Now we've seen on the Android side of things, we've seen some that are in widescreen. I think the BlackBerry Playbook is a widescreen device as well.
Yes.
The screen on it is a 9.7 inch display as well, so again about the same size. Uses a Snapdragon processor and dual core too, and that's another thing that we've seen moving in the world of processors or of tablets is dual core processing, turning these things into real high-end devices. So we have the ability, and we saw a demo on this, of 3D gaming on this. So very good quality graphics, very good ability to process raw numbers on there, and it actually was a really, really peppy gaming experience.
And it has a camera too.
It does have a camera. So just like the iPad, it's a front-facing camera, so you can do web conferencing. It's 1.3 megapixel, and nothing on the back. Of the,
so only one camera.
Only one camera. So you got to say to yourself, okay, so I've got one of these things. I'm looking at the screen. What do I want the camera for? Well, it's web conferencing. I'm not going to be going around taking pictures like this. It's just a little bit unwieldy. That's what your cell phone is for.
But it has a front-facing or a rear-facing?
It has front-facing camera.
Oh, so for
only.
like video
Yeah.
Skyping and
Both the other phones, the Veer and the Pre 3, they have both front and rear-facing cameras, as phones these days do.
Okay, good. Yeah, because it's kind of funny, Move to the left, honey. Okay, make the dog smile. Click. It just doesn't make any sense.
No. There's too much tablet in front of you to make that a really usable experience.
Right. Now, if you buy both the Pre or the Veer and the NanoPod, TouchPad, whatever it's called, there's this thing called the Synergy or something?
No, well, it uses a bit of synergy between the devices in the strategy.
It's not called Synergy.
It's not called
TM.
Synergy. No.
Okay.
It's called Touch to Share. Is
Touch
the
to share.
TM.
So you
part
take
of
the
it.
phone, you put it on your pad. The contact allows transfer of data.
Right. So you may be remembering
Mm-hmm.
back in the day with the Pre, one of the things they introduced was something called the Touchstone. So you actually can take the Pre and lay it on a charging pad. So it actually uses induction to communicate and charge up the battery. Now they've used this technology to make the Touchstone back of the phone work with the front of the touchpad or the NanoPod or whatever you call it. Or the fart pad.
Okay.
And so what happens is you pop it on the screen,
Yeah.
and then what you're looking at on the screen of the touchpad will appear on the phone itself. So if you have a URL on the tablet and you want to share that, so basically you're searching, okay,
That's
what
cool.
restaurant?
That's a cool feature.
Yeah, what restaurant I want to go to? Okay,
Yeah.
bang, here it is. Now I can take it with me and use the GPS in the phone to get me there.
Neat.
Now at this point, that's all it's doing is it's transferring URLs wirelessly. There is a bit of security involved in there. You have to have both of them set up on the same profile, so I can't just walk up to your touchpad and do that and steal whatever you're doing. That would drive-by data stealing. Not on the cards right now, but right now you can do that between one phone and your touchpad. They said it is just URLs at this point, but they told me behind the scenes that there's the ability to do other things, and they're working on ways to develop it. So you can see potentially in the future taking the phone or your iPad or your TouchPod or your TouchPad, putting up it against a touchstone thing at a kiosk, for example, in public, and the ability to share information that way. So there are potential future applications for this technology between just jamming your phone onto your touchpad.
Very good. Awesome. You had a good time in San Francisco?
Always have a good time. Got a little bit of beard papa time in, which is
nice.
Always fun.
All right, well, there you go with the latest from HP with their mobile strategy, I guess. And apparently the word fart isn't in the product names, but perhaps it should be.
I think this is a big business opportunity.
That's right, there you go.
Admit it, you'd buy one.
Absolutely, I think with the fart pad, come on. Anyway, so let's take a break. When we come back, we got picture time and, of course, clip of the week. That's coming up next. Welcome back to Lab Rats. So, final thoughts, I guess, on this thing. Availability for the fart pad?
TouchPad will be available in summer as well, so probably by the end of September. That will be a Wi-Fi version of
Summer
it.
2011. Wi-Fi version?
Yeah, a Wi-Fi version. There is a version that's coming out in 3G and 4G after that, so by the end of the year, they're saying. And again, pricing on all of this is to be determined. So they're saying it should be competitive with the other alternatives.
It better be, otherwise they're toast.
Pretty much. I think that is the case. And the nice thing about having HP behind this whole thing is they have the muscle to get manufacturing clout to bring the component price down, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And you had one other point?
That was
Wi-Fi or something?
pretty much it.
That was
It's just Wi-Fi on board that at the start, and then other connectivity down the road.
Okay, good. Well, because I'm getting excited because I want to talk about the clip of the week. The clip of the week this week is a sneak peek at a brand new show we've got coming up here at butterscotch.com called Android Weekly. You know, Android is an amazing operating system. It's the Google mobile operating system, and is starting to become making big waves in the marketplace. We decided we got to jump on this and start to give you a preview every week of what's going on in the Android world. So it's Android Weekly, hosted by Andrew Moore Crispin. Take a look at the pilot episode here. Actually, proof of concept more than anything else. You're going to see this show being released in March 2011. March 2011. So check that out at butterscotch.com. And here's a clip.
Welcome on deck. I'm Matt Harris.
Hi, I'm Jay Goldman.
Welcome to the A-List.
Hi, welcome to Miss Download.
First off, Android Week has obtained a super secret document that was only sent out to, well, every Android developer out there and to some bloggers. This letter from the Android market team outlines some of the changes that will impact developers. Namely, we're talking about new image sizes, an official requirement that each app in the market have at least one screenshot, and some new protocols around issuing app updates. The new image sizes, specs, and requirements are arguably the most interesting development here. If you read between the lines, you might assume that either A, there will finally be a decent way to browse the Android market when you're on your computer, B, that Android is actively paving the way for a more comprehensive tablet strategy, C, true, or D, all of the above.
So I said earlier, that show is going to be debuting in March 2011, so in a few weeks' time from as we shoot this show. If you are excited about this and you want to check it out, and you have an idea on what should be on the show or the kinds of things Andrew should be covering on that show, fire him off an email to andrew@butterscotch.com. He's Andrew Moore Crispin. He does Gadget TV and that sort of thing. Drop him a note and say, hey, I'm looking forward. I saw the clip. I'd really like to see this show, and I think you should do X, Y, Z, or Z on that show, okay? Because he'd love your feedback. All right, now time for pictures.
We do have some pictures today.
Picture time, picture
there we go.
time,
So
picture,
first up, we
picture,
have one
picture
from Stacy and Wilma, who are in Tennessee. This is a workbench with lab rats all around.
Love
and they also
it.
have a couple cats in there.
Yes.
And one of them is named Mac.
Mac the cat?
Yeah. And
Good.
the other one is named PC.
PC and Mac? No.
Yeah.
Poor
Yeah.
cats. Mac and PC.
I think it's pretty cute.
It is kind of cute, actually. And I have to say, so Stacy, right?
Yeah.
Stacy, you told us where you were from. You told us the name of your pets, and you sent us a picture. You get a gold star. It's very good.
There you go.
Awesome. All right.
Thank you so much, Stacy. And Wilma. So next one
Willem?
is
And Willem?
Wilma.
Wilma.
Wilma!
Who's Wilma? Who's Wilma?
I don't know. I'm guessing his wife.
Oh, okay, got it.
We got another
Stacy
picture here.
and Wilma.
Let's move into the present here.
Okay, sorry.
All right.
Wilma, I'm like,
So,
Stacy's wife is Wilma.
yes. So this is from Thomas, who is in Downers Grove, Illinois. I know a song about Downers Grove from Emo Phillips, but let's not talk about that. Talk about this picture. His cat in front of the fireplace, and the cat's name is Yum Yum.
Awesome name for a cat.
It is. That cat is a real Yum Yum. It looks like
I love it.
Siamese, I think.
Yum, yum.
Purebred Siamese or
Yum,
something.
yum the cat.
There he goes.
Awesome. And that was from,
That was from Thomas in Downers Grove.
and what's his
Again,
name called? His wife. What's his wife name called?
I don't know.
Okay.
He didn't say.
Wilma as well.
And there we go. One more.
All right, one more. Yeah.
One from Matt, who is in Illinois.
Matt.
And this is his setup. And we've got a bunch of different devices here. We've got a Linux box, actually a couple different Linux boxes, a Windows 98 box, a Windows XP box, and Windows Vista.
It's the history of
All in the same
Microsoft,
thing.
all in one room.
Yeah, and he said UGG when he wrote down Vista.
Yeah,
I
UGG is
think a lot
right.
of people did
Yeah.
say UGG.
I wrote a 500-page book on Vista, and pretty much it was like blank pages, except that UGG on every page.
That is a very good thing. So thank you, Matt. So we had three. Everyone told us who they were and
You
where
guys,
they were from.
you know, what are we, episode 250, 260, God knows where we're at. And finally we train you. It took us this long, but good job, guys. So don't forget, if you want to send your pictures to us here, you can email them to.
I like to shop in downtown Downers Grove at feedback.tv, or librats.tv.
@librats.tv.
Yes.
Yeah, or
Or feedback at librats.tv.
be a little easier there.
Yeah, a
Don't-
little bit.
Don't forget to include your name. Include your pet's name if they're in the picture. Include where you're from. And tell us what's in the picture.
Yes.
And if you want to pimp out, like if you're going to send us like a web grab of your website, tell us what the URL is as well.
Yes. The more information, the better
The
we
better.
can tell you what's actually up
The
on
more
the screen
jokes
here.
we can make about your personal life.
Yes, please send all that information on, because I'm tired of him making jokes about my personal life.
That's right. How's your wife, by the way? I won't go there. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in this week. It was lovely to have you push play because, you know, we like it. Otherwise, it'd be foolish for us to be here waiting for you to push play. My name is Andy Walker,
I'm Sean Carruthers.
and we'll see you next time.
Are you ready? Try this at home.